And fade out. Oh, I think the audio faded out. Didn't hang over quite. All right, hi, welcome to this week's edition of the live chat, hanging out with you guys. I remember the last video I released right after last week's chat, and I got a couple comments saying, I wish you would do more of those videos and less of the live chats. Well, I do too. But as long as YouTube rewards those that stay relevant and live. Am I echoing? I don't think I'm echoing. Oh, maybe it's echoing the chat. Hi, Hard YOLO. And as long as YouTube rewards those that continuously do stuff on the channel, we will have live chats. And I enjoy hanging out with you guys. So the guys that do enjoy the live chats, that do like to hang out and just come out and see what's going on. I must be living clean. I actually got a notification between the stream started. Yeah, sometimes I just start the stream. Today I gave a 10-minute warning. Hi, Javid, Francisco, Paolo, sorry. Marine Nosy, Siana, Sana, Mion Wang, Hillary. How you doing, Hillary Merrick? Daniel, Saldivar. And guess what we got today? I think I figured out what was going on with my computer last time. So before, if I wanted to say, how you doing, Daniel? If I wanted to put that little thing on there, it would get stuck. The reason why I was having issues before was because I had a 4K graphic. I was using a 4K graphic in an HD stream, and I think that was what was killing it. Hi, Rick. How you doing? So I can now put Rick's thing on there. Boom, and it actually works properly, the way it should. It's supposed to work that way. So yay. So I think I got that figured out. So I wanted to pontificate today. Start the topic because I'm thinking about doing this as a video. I think what I'll do is I'll do it in the form of a beat by beat, which I was starting to do a little bit with the Coco video. And when I go through a movie and kind of talk about the way the story is structured. And I wanted to take on a Little Shop of Horrors. Because I recently printed out this guy, my little Audrey 2, as I thought it was a really cool prop to have in my back of my shots. And so I said, I'm going to watch the movie again. Put it back. So now I have been in, yes, Charles, so they had fixed the switch to a 1080 graphic instead of a 4K graphic. So yeah, I'll show you how it works. And boom, look at that, actually smooth. Javid says, I fell in love with the video and the world cinema with my video. Thank you. Great. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get back to that. So let's talk a little about Little Shop of Horrors. Horrors. I've always been told I mispronounce horrors because I say horrors. Little Shop of Horrors. Completely different movie. So my experience is I've played in the show one time, one run, which was about 12 performances. So when you do 12 performances, you kind of get a really good sense of the show. And I watched the movie again, and basically my thesis is going to be this. The movie does the show rotten, does the story rotten, absolutely rotten. The story, hopefully everybody here know what Little Shop of Horrors is about. It's about, we'll just run down really quickly. It's about a boy who is down on his luck. He discovers this plant that's this strange and interesting plant, and it's like Faust. It's he makes a deal with it to feed it human beings. He feeds it human beings. Now, he doesn't actually cause the death of the people that he feeds to the plant, but at the very end, he is able. So what's happened? And I guess I don't want to go through all the details because I'm going to write it up in a video. But it's a Faustian deal. You provide the devil your soul, and in return you get all the riches. He gets the girl, he gets famously wealthy, and all that stuff. Oh, hi. Thank you, Rick, for the super chat. God made a few perfect heads. The rest he covered with hair. There you go. Yeah, I've got peach fuzz, but I don't have much hair left, so I figured I'd cut it all off. But, so it's a Faustian deal where he gets the girl, he gets the money in exchange for basically feeding the plant dead human beings. And it's obviously based on a Roger Corman movie way back when. It turned into a musical. But the problem I have with the ending in the movie version, which is directed by Frank Oz, better known as Yoda, and Miss Piggy and all those people. But the ending of the movie, the way the musical ends and the way the director filmed it was, at the very end, Seymour gets eaten by the plant. Because if you make a deal with the devil, you have to pay the bill. The devil eats the hero, and in the musical, actually, the girl also dies, and then the plant takes over the entire world and destroys New York. That's the ending of the play. But the movie executives said, "Oh man, that's too dark, considering how light and funny and comical the rest of the movie was. We want a happy ending where Seymour saves the day by electrocuting the plant and destroying it, and all is forgiven." And that's awful. My thesis, I think, when I was going to title this video, I'm going to call it "How the ending of Little Shop of Horrors signals the fall of Western society," because it is like, the more I think about it, the more I think about how the proper ending where the hero has to pay for the sins is the most logical conclusion, that no other ending would make sense. Because what's happened here is Seymour Krelborn can basically, although he doesn't directly cause the death of all the people that he feeds to the plant, he is allowing the evil to take place. And at the very end, he basically gets away scot-free. So he gets the girl, he gets the money, he gets to keep all his riches and fame, and he beats the devil. That's the wrong message to send. That's the message is, you make a deal with the devil, you're in bad crap, right? It's a Faustian deal. So this ending, it's so wrong. The ending that is in the movie is wrong, and it's like, that's the symbol of what's wrong with society. I like that Charles Hoffman said, "Love the bombast, the end of society." But isn't it? These movies are our legends. Movies are our morality tales. Little Shop of Horrors is a morality tale. Don't feed the plant. Don't feed evil. And because look, the fact that, and I go back, and I have to kind of go back on this point over and over again, is that Seymour never does actually commit the murders to feed the plant, but he is allowing them to happen, and he allows it to continue. So I think he is culpable in the murder of these people. In a way. Now, did they have it coming to them? Of course they did. The dentist obviously deserves to die. As the song goes, sure looks like plant food to me, and then his boss kind of feels like he needs to die. So, yeah, anyhow, that's what my take on it. And I want to kind of push back a little bit, too. This is what made me want to kind of talk more about, making it a beat by beat, because I think this is actually, there's a lot to dissect in Little Shop of Horrors. The movie version, the movie of the musical, not the Corman version. I'm not gonna go on. I kind of watched a little bit of the Corman. It's not great. This is not for me. I didn't like it really, but the movie, the musical, I love, except for that ending. But I want to talk, like, people were saying because on YouTube there's the movie version ending where he kills the plant and they live happily ever after, and everyone's saying like, oh, this fits the tone of the play so much better, because the play is, it's lighthearted, right? And I thought, or the movie is lighthearted, it's cute, it's funny, it's a comedy, right? Is it? The play is dark. It's super dark. The first song is like Skid Row, and they're talking about basically abject poverty. The girls, the urchin girls are going down. I don't know if you haven't seen the movie recently, you might not understand it, but the urchin girls are going down, and the shopkeeper comes out and says, "Why don't you go make something better of yourself?" And the girl's like, "Make something better of ourselves? You don't know what you know who you're talking to. We can't make any better of ourselves." It's just depressing. The whole area is depressing. The characters of Krelborn and Seymour and Ella Green. What's her name? Dang it! I already lost it in my head. The girl. Dang it! Ellen Green. I know is their name. Is their real name? Dang it! What? My brain is so Audrey. Yeah, Audrey too. Yeah, duh. Audrey. I don't know her last name, but she is also she's like super sad. Her outfits at the beginning, although as a guy I appreciate, kind of slutty, and she's kind of like presented as a slut. She is associated with spousal abuse or domestic violence is the key storyline there. What's the term I'm thinking of? She's an enabler. She enables her boyfriend to abuse her. I mean, really physically. I mean, there's some dark stuff. And if you want to get down to it too, you also have the capitalist mushnik who owns the store, basically trying to trample on the proletariat, the workers, and enslaving. I mean, basically, Krellborn is like an indentured servant to this guy. I mean, the whole thing is dark, 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 dark. And to say, well, the ending, we want a happy ending. I'm like, it doesn't quite. Anyhow, so I was thinking about doing like a beat by beat and kind of going through every single part of the movie and kind of understand like why it works and what's the point of this message, what's the point of this beat, because I think it's really, really well constructed. Although it deals with a lot of dark stuff. Anyhow, then people, Canada rocks. Canada rocks. Says, I know the ending didn't fit the story, but as an adult, I was able to analyze why. Yeah, I think analyzing why is going to be kind of fun. Because I think the entire story leads you to one conclusion, and that is it has to end tragically. Like anything other than a tragedy at the end would just be bad. And like, that's the thing. Like, I think, Americans, unfortunately, the American movie-going public has unfortunately equated musicals with happiness and silliness and yippee and and then we had Frank Oz and his puppets. Jim Henson style. It's gotta be lighthearted. It's gotta have a happy ending, right? Like, no. Why? Why does that have everything in this story is leading to a particular tragic ending, and it's the only way it to be satisfying is if Seymour dies at the end, if he pays the price for the crap that he's done, the sins that he's committed. Even though, yes, he hasn't killed anybody, he has contributed to evil. He needs to pay. That's the point. And that's if we allow him not to pay, that's how society crumbles. I'm not going to go off. Obviously, I'm being a little bombastic with it, but that's if we lose the moral of the story, then the story doesn't have morals. Anyhow. So, I mean, that's why I like something like Chicago. Like, I think I've talked about Chicago a lot on this channel because I love Chicago because that Chicago, the movie, didn't really shy away from the cynicism of the musical. I mean, I don't know the differences that well, but it's, Chicago has a funny way of being deeply, deeply cynical and upsetting at the end. You're like, this is fun, and they're like, oh crap, what am I watching? I'm propping up murderers, Yeah, T. Peters is saying, watch the alternate ending. The ending, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the proper ending, which is the ending of the play. That's how the play ends. In fact, in the play, spoilers, Audrey dies. And Seymour sees Audrey die because when Audrey 2 eats Audrey first, Audrey 1, and he pulls her out, she's mortally wounded and she dies in his arms. Like, that's the payment. He was trying to get the girl, and the girl dies, right? So, that's the payment for, it's the dirty deal with the devil, So yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, look it up. You'll see, and a lot of people comment when you see the real ending for Little Shop of Horrors, the way they shot it. It's like, it is pornographic in the way it's excessive. Obviously it wasn't cut. It was probably the version you see online is probably not the would have been the final edit. It was like basically here's all our footage and we're just going to dump it all. You know, like it's just crazy. It's just an insane amount of special effects, and I mean it was obviously all practical. So lots of just crazy stuff. Yeah, Carl's Hoffman saying, yeah, if I do a beat by beat, I think what I'll do is if I do a beat, I will probably do a beat by beat because I think that's a good topic and it'd be fun change of pace too. But yeah, I would talk a little bit about the 60s film as far as like how, you know, because it was literally, I think it was Corman had that shop, that set for 2 extra days. And like, oh, we rented it for a week or whatever, but we only needed to shoot it for 3 days. What else can we do on this set for 2 days? And it was also shot in 2 days. I mean, it was, you know, Corman is I love the spirit of his movie making. Not a big fan of the movies, but I love the spirit of it, and I wish I had a little bit of that kind of go get him and chutzpah that he has. I mean, he's just absolutely he's a hero. He's a legend, obviously, you know. Anyhow, but yeah, I think I would cover some of the background of it too, and talk about the musical and talk about how, because that's my thesis of the point is the movie has basically cut the legs off of the story. It's sad. Meow Wang says, Suicide Squad was surprisingly good. I was watching the first half of it last night, and I started at 11 p.m., and I knew I probably wasn't going to finish. I was going to see how far I could get. I got about an hour in, and I was just too tired. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It's not, I thought it was more kind of a trashy fun. I wasn't like, oh, this is amazing, but I was having a good time. So I'm going to go ahead and check it out. Check out the rest of it. I was watching last night. So again, one of the things, you know, like right now I'm kind of in between some major projects, so I have a little bit of time, which means I kind of like just goof off a little bit. My mom's health is going weird right now, so I'm probably a little distracted by that. I gotta clean up my office, but you know, it's one of those things. I will when I will. But yeah, I was watching another one that I want to do. I'm probably not going to do a beat by beat, but maybe beat by beat might be a good format for it. I was watching The Lady Eve. The Lady Eve, Preston Sturges, 1930 something, well, 1940 something. But I really wanted, I wanted to do a community, like a movie screening, like a club kind of a thing. Not necessarily a club, but like an event. I would like to hold an event every month and show an old movie. And by old, I mean probably pre-1970s, although I would make some exceptions. But I was thinking more like before 70s. And screen movies that you may not be able to see them on a big screen, you know, normally, because they might not have quite the commercial draw. But I would also follow that up, or I would begin every screening with a little lecture, like a 15-minute lecture, 10-minute lecture, giving you context. It's like one of my favorite parts of TCM is when that dude, I forget, is it Mankiewicz, or the old guy with the white hair. I used to like that guy a lot. He'd come out and give like a 3-minute spiel about little tidbits about the movie you're about to watch. I'd expand it to like maybe 15 minutes and just give a little more deeper context about what this movie's about, what you're going to expect, and then show the movie. And I think that would be really cool to do. I would love, however, to do that with the backing of maybe some cities and maybe start like a nonprofit in regards to that as an organization, and then be able to show movies that way. I've started to kind of put my feelers out as far as what it would cost to license these movies. That answer, the answer to that question is a very, very vague, very vague. It's like they won't even, it's hard to even talk to them because they'll be like, well, we need to know exactly what movie you want to see, what dates you want to have, how many people you expect. It's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a guess, and I'm like, no one's like, they don't understand what I'm trying to do. So, anyhow, I was thinking about trying to do this maybe on YouTube, and do it, but not having watch parties because I don't want to deal with that copyright mess. But I would put out these like 15-minute, like 10 to 15-minute lectures about the movie that we're about to watch. And then I'll ask you to go out and find the movie and watch it. So, yeah, so I was watching Lady Eve last night, and that was really good. Sonar says the Network 1976 is great observations. Network is one of those movies that I have just absolutely amazed by. My jaw, I had to pick my jaw off the floor just the way it's written. It's so well written. But, you know, if you haven't seen The Lady Eve, yeah, Ben Mankiewicz, who is Herman Mankiewicz's grandson. I thought they were, if you're named Mankiewicz in Hollywood, like you're probably related to the Mankiewicz some ways, But Lady Eve is like, I don't know, maybe. All right, maybe I won't be too personal, but there is something incredibly romantic about the very first half of the movie. The movie kind of breaks down into like 3 halves, essentially, or not 3 halves. That doesn't make sense. 3 thirds, right? The first third is basically, I can't think of her name now. My brain is not going. But Henry Fonda and the girl from Double Indemnity. Anyhow, they have. She's kind of playing a con on him. He's rich. He's like an inheritor. He's like the wealthy socialite of what's it called? Beer. Arseny says Preston Sturges is overrated. Billy Wilder was better. I think Billy Wilder was good. I think Preston Sturges kind of flamed out early. Like I think Preston Sturges, but I love Preston Sturges' dialogue, and I wonder if Billy Wilder took a lot of inspiration from Preston Sturges' dialogue, because the dialogue in this very first part of the movie, when she's kind of conning him, but she starts falling madly in love with him at the same time. Like it's so romantic, and I don't know, maybe because of the way Barbara Stanwyck. Thank you, Barbara Stanwyck. How could I forget that? Barbara Stanwyck. She's always in my head. But the way she acts, the way it's written, the way the two, I don't know, something about them. I feel like I'm in love when I watch that part. Like to me, it's like so. It's got everything that I feel when you've got the butterflies in your stomach kind of feeling. It's so romantic, that first part of the movie. And then it twists when he finds out that she's actually trying to con him, but she's not trying to con him because she actually loves him. So she gets pissed off at him, and then no fury like a woman scorned, and then she tries to stick it to him in the second third of the movie. Well, second half of the movie, and the final little epilogue is they kind of like realize, hey, we really do love each other. Let's throw this off, and boom, go for it. Lewis Millstone. Oh yeah, that was a movie that I want to do. I want to do as part of my cine screening, because I love that movie. I don't think anybody talks about that movie, The Lady Eve, and I think it's so. I think it's so relevant now. Also, being that I've kind of followed a lot about the culture war stuff that's going on right now, I find myself looking at some of these old movies and thinking like, how quote problematic they are to a current crop of people. Obviously, I don't think they're problematic. I grew up with them. I love them. I think it was, whatever problematic thing you see in the past was just people being themselves and being people. Our obviously our society changes, our standards change over time. So I don't see them as bad. But man, when I watch some of these movies, like, ugh, somebody would write an article on that on Jezebel about how horrible that line is. But you gotta get beyond that. I guess when anything to do with history, you gotta go beyond that. Anyhow, let's see. I was gonna say pick this up. Lewis Millstone. I didn't hear about this. Lewis Milestone is one of the most underrated, sadly forgotten directors. One of some movies that would be great to revisit. Yeah, check those out. I was kind of going to go about. There's a fine line, and obviously I think I would pick movies that are in the AFI Top 100 or, one of those top lists, because here's the irony of dealing with, when filmmaker IQ used to do a lot with Facebook, and we used to post a lot of photos on Facebook, and we would discover this very obvious thing. If you post pictures of people that no one's heard of but are really, really famous, or who aren't really famous, or are really, really good at their thing, and no one really cares. But if you post pictures of celebrities, everyone goes crazy, right? So people always get upset that, how come these athletes and these rock stars get paid millions and millions of dollars, and the chemistry professor over there or teacher doesn't get paid hardly anything? Well, that's because the athlete can generate millions of dollars, and celebrity, unfortunately, in our society, means your project gets looked at. Like if you made a movie and it had Scarlett Johansson in it, you would get press because Scarlett Johansson is in it. That's no matter what movie you'd make, you can make a low budget comedy with Scarlett Johansson and you would get press because everyone wants to talk about Scarlett Johansson. And she's not the best actress in the world. All right, as lovely as she is, and she's a perfectly capable actress. But say you got like someone who was so much better than her, but a no name, you would not get press. That's the reality, and so that's why. So I guess and also what I'm doing with these movies, I have to pick if I'm picking these movies out. Like I have to pick movies that are kind of known but not well known. You could go The Godfather, and everyone knows The Godfather, and probably that video would probably get a lot of views because they all want to hear me talk about The Godfather. But like everyone's talking about The Godfather. I want to talk about The Lady Eve, which maybe people have heard. Maybe if I said Peter Fonda is in it, and Barbara Stanwyck is in it, and it's also kind of a romantic con artist movie. Anyhow. Arseny says, can you make a video about convincing people to give you $100 million to make a movie? Would be useful. You got this. See, the thing is, I don't know, I'll be honest with you guys. How many people are watching on this channel right now? I think we've got like 38 people. My reach is not great. Like if I can get you guys to put in $1 and we maybe get $40 going here, but I don't think I can get raised that much money. That's the problem. Like me personally, I've never felt I was capable of actually doing any kind of crowdfunding because I don't have that kind of crowdfund mentality or ability to go out there and rah get like tons of people to give me money. That's just not who I am, unfortunately. I wish I was something different. I don't know. Maybe that's just my own personal mental block, but I just don't. I don't know. Well, this channel's. I think the thing was this channel's very old. Like comparatively, in YouTube years, we're like hundreds of years old. We're Methuselah on YouTube. So a lot of my subscriber base are basically old people from way back when. So even though I have 390,000 subscribers, they're not all necessarily all active. So, it's nice to have that big number because they can just show that around. I got 390,000 subscribers. But a lot of them are pretty, they may not be active accounts or I don't know what happened to them. But, so hopefully we can keep things going in here. Anyhow, Abe's sharing you all this dirty behind-the-scenes secrets. Oh, there we go. Lewis Mills Milestone Films, All Quiet on the Western Front. That was a good one. I think I saw that way back when. The front page of Mice and Men and Ocean's 11, the original one. Cool. Yeah. Juho says, I'm sure the 40 of us can generate $100 million for you. I hope you guys can and not spend any of that on your own projects. Thomas Hine, thanks for being a less than 1 year subscriber. Cool, thank you. Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to speak the truth. I'm not bashing my subscribers or anything, or saying. It's just I've been, as a YouTube channel, been around for a very long time. If you generate 100,000 subscribers and you're, in less than a year, then you got a lot more active people. But we've been around for like 12, 15, I don't know, at least 12 years, I think on YouTube for a long time, way long time. This channel was a channel long before I actually started making videos on this channel. All right, here you go. One of the most suspenseful scenes in the history of cinema was the scene in Double Indemnity where Barbara Stanwyck hides behind the door from the detective. Yeah, I know. That's a great scene. There's a lot of good scenes in the Barbara Stanwyck, let's face it, she's just a fantastic actress. Like she's both, she can just carry a lot. She can play bubbly, she can play, nasty. The funny thing with that role was she had that blonde wig, and she's not. I don't think she's blonde, really. But Murph Resta from check 999,095 to go exactly. But on Double Indemnity, like she was kind of like refused. She was kind of pissed off, like she had to wear the stupid blonde wig. She said, "It looks cheap. It looks stupid. It looks fake." And Billy Wilder's like, "Well, yeah, that's the point. That's what I want. Your character is supposed to look cheap, fake, and not real." Yeah. Juho says, yes, if I pitch my $2 million, I won't be able to fly to Japan on weekends to get sushi. Wouldn't that be fun? I'd like to go to Japan. I haven't been to Japan. What is your favorite films of the Fast and Furious universe? Good question. So I gave my mom has dementia, and she doesn't know how to read English. And I have an Amazon Fire Stick at home, and unfortunately she doesn't really know how to use it. So she just randomly pushes buttons on the damn thing. And here I'm at my office, my studio, and I get an email from Amazon saying, "Hello, John. Thank you for your purchase of Fast and Furious series." Like, God damn, what did my mom buy? So yeah, she bought the Fast and Furious universe on thing there. So yeah, I'm going to be watching that probably sometime. Amir says, "Dude, I saw you on TV." Was I doing this? No, I'm not. I don't look anything like Captain Picard. What TV did you see me on? Why was I on TV? Did somebody pirate my videos again? I know my videos are popular in Iran. They just rip them off of YouTube and throw them on Iranian television. I'm like, what can I do about that? Oh well, and it's not like, probably not going to be any money. Well, I'm obviously not getting any money from that. So, oh, you saw me in Iran? Okay, yeah. I don't know what you guys need to videotape the thing from the Iranian television and send it to me. I want to see that just so I can just say, hey, everybody, I'm famous in Iran. Even though I'm probably not allowed to go there. Oh, I look like the UFO guy on the show that discusses the paranormal activity, UFOs, Bigfoot, and that guy has hair. Yeah. Like that dude. Will I watched the upcoming James Bond movie? If yes, you think it's the last one, Spectre managed to get some art direction and photography the old ones achieved. Sure. I was planning to go and see that's the Suicide Squad in theaters, but it's like, well, I gotta get up, and it was on HBO Max. I just wanted to watch HBO Max instead. Yeah, I'd see the new James Bond movie. I want to get back in the movie theaters. I went to see In the Heights in the movie theater. That's the only thing I don't have. I don't have it. It's the only thing I saw in theaters. Amir says, "Where we don't have we don't have copyright." Yeah, I figured that's probably what's going on there. You guys, or you don't care about copyright. Yeah, entirely new fan base in Iran. I think I probably already do. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. You don't have hot copyright. Yeah. Oh well, whatever. At a certain point, you just have to realize it is what it is. The funny thing, every time I see anything discussion on copyright's obviously if you've been hanging out with me long enough, copyright is a topic that I'm very, very interested in, and I probably hold a view that is counter to probably most of the internet, which is I'm very, very much pro copyright, and also very, very much pro fair use and all that stuff. But every time I see anybody on the internet comparing two things, comparing a movie to this movie and saying, this movie copied this other movie, I'm always like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah. Amir says, do you have Instagram? I think I personally have an Instagram, but I don't really post to it much. But, yeah. Now it's been a long enough time. I think I talked about it before, but that some independent movie filmmaker was bitching that the movie Horse Girl was a ripoff of his movie, and his arguments, his beats that he thought were being copied were like, girl suffers tragedy, as if that's not every single movie about a girl suffers tragedy. That's literally the beginning of most stories. All these beats are kind of very similar. Girl suffers tragedy. Girl seeks out friend for comfort. Well, no kidding, really? Is that stole that idea? It's like, anytime I see somebody saying copy. Anyhow, that's enough of it. You guys aren't probably not interested in that. Sonner says, I don't think anybody can write anything good, concentrate to write something good, especially good, in the internet era, not at least yet. Yeah, I think that the trick is you turn off the internet for a while. You say, I'm not going to focus on that. Have I seen Blood Red Sky? No, I have not. Let's check that out. Blood Red Sky on Netflix. I was watching in Vegas, and a friend and I were just kind of flipping through the television. We caught a little bit of the end of Hell or High Water. Man, the writing in that is so good. The writing is so good in that movie. And like that's, I always love movies that do have that little bit of zing in the writing. But that movie, that has a zing, It's like, I love the scene where the two cops are in the diner with the crotchety old lady who's the waitress. She's like, they're like T-bone steak, or two T-bone steaks, medium rare. And he's like, well, I'll take my medium rare. It wasn't a question. Such a great movie as far as writing. What's the cheapest microphone for achieve studio-like quality? Any mic in particular, just what to look for? Great question. So I am not the golden ear guy. If you watch my video about sample rates, I admitted I really can't hear super well. I can hear 15 kilohertz and that's it. And I am not an audiophile. So we're talking about what's good enough and versus what's pristine quality, right? I'm not talking about pristine quality. What's good enough is basically proximity. Like literally, proximity is the most important thing. Now, get yourself a decent mic. Like don't get a microphone off of a Barbie playset. That's not going to work very well. Get one that's at least an XLR connector. That's kind of a sign that's somewhat decent, and place it close to your subject. That's it. That is super. I know, and there's more to it obviously than that, but you do that, 75% of your audio problems will be solved. If you get your audio microphone close to the person and then use a good, decent connector. And decent microphone, that is. That's all you need. Rode makes pretty good mics, so even their cheapest offerings are pretty good. So if you want to go something like that, that'd be good. They used to be a sponsor, not anymore, so I'm just mentioning Rode because they're well known for being relatively inexpensive microphones. Other names you can consider are Sennheiser is a kind of medium Rode, and Nady I think is a cheaper microphone, but they make decent stuff. This is, by the way, a Rode microphone that I have in front of me. All right. With the climate crisis in full swing, is it too soon to remake Silent Running? I think, but the thing is, like, isn't every movie basically about some sort of climate issue? They're all trying to jump on it. Yeah, really good writing sparkles, for lack of a better term. It's like a little bit of it's just something. It's just interesting to listen to. It pricks the ear, it makes it fun. Let's see. Pile any good? I don't know who Pile. Oh, Pile. Like Pile microphones? I don't know. I've never heard of that one. Star Wars ripped off Silent Running in the droid area? Okay. Favorite new director in the last 10 years? I don't know. Obviously, it would say like Denis Villeneuve, but I think he's probably been operating longer than 10 years. I'm trying to think of... the guy that directed the Lighthouse and the other movie, The Wood. What's the other movie? Woods or something like that. I love that movie. I wasn't crazy about the Lighthouse, but the one before the Woods one, I forget. Yeah, my brain is scattered, man. Yeah, Pile mics. I'm not sure. Anyhow, Thomas Hines said I used to do an AM radio as a co-host on a local show, and the microphones were next to our lips. 50,000 watt station. You'd be surprised how loud you need to speak up. Interesting. Yeah, maybe, I wonder if they just, was that all analog or is that digital or maybe it was just because they were all very dynamic microphones and you had to get close, so that way you could just get rid of all the. if you had to be loud to speak up, and then you just get rid of all the background noise. That's great. The Witch, thank you. The Witch, Robert Eggers. That's the name. Thank you, Will Gibson. Yeah, I like Robert Eggers. I like his. I'd follow him, definitely. See his next movie. Do I have any experience with the Rodecaster Pro Mixer? No, I do not. I follow the Dilbert creator Scott Adams, and he obviously is much more of a boomer. And the funny thing is, he does stream to to YouTube and to his locals platform, and he uses 2 iPads and 2 Rodecasters. And it's like, I tried to send him some advice, but yeah, I guess I'm not big enough to get my response. It's like there's easier ways to do it, but like certain people, I think, who are not. He is trying to be technically minded while at the same time refusing to take the full plunge into just having a real like live casting studio rather than just trying to make it work with iPads. And I understand why you wanted to make it work with iPads, but because this is complicated. What I do here is complicated. I've got it to the point where I can kind of just walk in and just do this now without having to like freak out for 30 minutes. But it's complicated. Anyhow. I've been hoping to upgrade my remote multi-channel audio recording setup to something for live music performance. Do you recommend any handy Zoom field recorders? Yes, but remote multi-channel audio recording setup. So are you remote and you record it? I do like the Zoom F8N, which I thought was just a remarkable beast of a machine for the price tag. I mean, now the buttons are admittedly not great. Like as far as like they're just tiny. Like the sound devices, the 8-channel recorder for the sound devices, big giant knobs. Like you can't miss that. But these guys, you almost need to like get in there with tweezers and just turn them. Then obviously not that bad. You can do them with your finger, but it's not big solid buttons that you can turn. So, but the Zoom FN I really like. There's a Zoom F6 which looks like a spider, or I guess not a spider but an insect. I just think that thing looks ugly, but. Hey, Clay-Doh, how you doing, Clay? 50,000 watts must be KFI. How you doing, Clay? Let's see here. Sana says, I think the little cabin in the woods is describing our era where all terrors that authority used in the past revive in our era. Okay, that's dark. We'll have to dissect that a little bit. Yeah, Thomas, I could ask the engineer they were doing it. I mean, it makes sense if you had to yell into the microphone to get rid of all the background noise. That'd be great. Oh, Duel will be worth watching if he is make a part 2. Oh, Dune. Dune will be worth watching if that Duel. KLF. KFI, home of Bill Handel. I remember I used to listen to a lot of KFI, actually. I haven't been listening to a lot of it, honestly. Actually, back in the day, I mean, I know it's going to be controversial, but it was Bill Handel in the morning, it was Rush Limbaugh, then it was Laura Schlesinger, then John and Ken, and then they do, after that, they would, I think it was, I forget, Phil Hendry. Phil Hendry, if you guys haven't heard of Phil Hendry, check him out. Phil Hendry, it's more of a local thing, I think, more of a radio legend. I don't know if he's local. I think it was syndicated across America, but Phil Hendry used to do these radio. He'd be kind of the originator of fake news, where he would go on his radio show. He'd have a call in, but it was actually him doing a voice, and it would always be like the worst imaginable thing. And he would just get his audience pissed off, and the pissed off people would call and try to interact and yell at the people on the phone, which is really him. And the way he did it too was he would have his microphone, and he'd have a phone, like an analog phone. He would just pick up, "Hello, this is Phil. I'm really terrified with it." Well, I'm sorry, you doing that? And it's a hoot to watch. And he was on a couple episodes of King of the Hill too. I forget what he played on King of the Hill, but I mean, he looks like Bill Dauterive from King of the Hill. So my mind's always mixing the two of them together. Yeah, Phil Hendry. Man, I'd like to go back and after this, I'll probably go back and listen to some of that stuff. Yep, probably. What is my favorite editing software? It is Adobe. I don't even like editing anymore, but I mean, I like editing, obviously. My brain is so mushy right now that it's hard for me to do any work. So yeah, but Adobe is my thing. I don't like Resolve. Sorry, man. I just don't like it, Resolve. But I get why people like it. Blah, 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 blah. Charles Hoffman's good point about, I guess, the radius issues. Once you've got the rock balance just right, you dare not make any more changes for fear of toppling the tower. Trauma. Oh, Lloyd Kaufman had a cameo. Which one was Lloyd Kaufman? I'm trying to think. I don't know if I saw it now. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of love for Phil Hendry in the chat. That's good. The HOA lady. I like the guy with the steakhouse. We'll put our meat in your mouth. I love that. Oh man. Yeah, Dr. Laura was okay. She was kind of a little too wacky and a little hard lined when I think what happened was she was obviously very, very against single parenting and very, very against not homeschool, but childcare. Very, very against it. However, people took that as kind of offensive because those people who had to have childcare, who had to get divorced and single parents and all that stuff, felt like it was like an insult to them. I don't think she meant it that way, but she came off like that, very much so. So I think, yeah. That's what happened, and then I don't know what happened. I think she got ready to get canceled, or she retired and canceled. Canceled as in cancel cultured, but she wasn't long for these days. She wouldn't work very well in these days. Ted at Beverly Hills, that's what it was. We'll put our meat in your mouth. I love that. The best, yes, exactly. True Film says the best editing software is the one that you are at ease with. It goes with all kinds of workstations. Exactly, it's the best software. It's the best. Yeah, I mean, to the best camera, to most extent, to the best microphone. They always say the best camera is the one that you happen to have on you, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you're just putting pictures in order. That's all you're doing. Whether you do it in Adobe Premiere or you do it in Resolve or whatever. Greetings from Malaysia, Zahari. Oh, thank you. I didn't even read that. I oftentimes put up quotes that are positive and complimentary to me before I read the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, thank you very much. So it may look like I'm just being self-promoting, which I am, obviously. I've got to stroke my own ego because no one else is going to stroke it for me. But anyhow. Oh, Thomas Hines says, you just found out that Sheldon's wife is really a scientist in real life. Is it going to blow your mind that she's also Blossom from the 90s show Blossom? Mayim Bialik or whatever. Mayim Bialik. Bialystok. The other girl that yeah, she's okay. She's reasonably nice looking. But Winnie from the Golden Years, holy moly, Winnie. I forget her name already. My brain because is already mushed here. But yeah, Winnie from the Golden Years. She has like a doctorate in math or something like that, and she does a lot of Hallmark Channel shows now. But holy moly, she is gorgeous. She looks like a slightly bit older version of what she looked like when she was young. Slightly bit older, like more mature, less jailbaity, I guess if you want to say. Danica McKellar, thank you, Charles Hoffman. Yeah, I follow her on social medias. Just because I just want to look at her and enjoy her beauty and her brains. And she writes these children's books about science and STEM fields, which are awesome. It's. I think the other day I was probably taught. I mean, I kind of cringe a little bit when I hear people kind of focusing a whole lot on STEM, because I mean I obviously love STEM. If you watch my channel, you would understand that I do love STEM. But I don't think STEM is the end all. I think hyper focusing on STEM is a little too short-sighted. It should be the STEAM, which is what everyone kind of the new thing: STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Add art into that, and then we've got a whole rounded education. John, True Film says, John, you mentioned it twice that your brain is mushed. How seriously are you? I'm okay. I'm in between projects right now, so I was taking I came off a really big project, and I had my birthday. I was kind of like trying to line it up to be like a big, and I'm kind of coming out of that. I'm working toward another project that's coming up in September, which is a state of the city for the city of Lake Elsinore. If you guys know where I'm at, so you know where I'm at. So that's going to be the next big thing that comes up, and I'm trying to deal with my office being a mess and my home being a mess and all that jazz. So I'm good enough to stream live. I'm still here, but I'm not. I mean, yeah, I'm in a funky, weird place, and it's hot in this room. It's not as hot as it has been, but it's a little warm, and I got lights in my eyes and all that crap. Did I go to film school? I did not. I did not. Does that answer your question? No. A little bit of the room action going on there. Hey, nice to see you, Mindo the Bumblebee. Matey the Great. A question for you. What is your thoughts on OBS over vMix? I like vMix way more than I like OBS. I think OBS is great because it's free. And that's, to me, OBS, that's the one thing going for OBS that is really, really awesome. It's free. But vMix is probably better than OBS in every single way, other than not being free. And vMix is what I'm using right now. That's what you're seeing with vMix. Yeah, Harry says, I completely feel after finishing big projects. I finished the graduations, this year's graduations I did 7 graduations altogether. And I basically edited all of them. I had some help with filming them all. A lot of help with filming them all. Thank God I had the help on that. But editing 7 graduations, essentially almost 7 hours worth of content. Like 7 hours of content. Thousands of names. And it like that, I did some all-nighters before, but that one crushed me. Like, it literally crushed me. I got paid handsomely, but it crushed me. Like, I was in a daze for days. And then after that, immediately I was thrown into a Chamber of Commerce project where I was working it was a pretty solid little documentary. It was like a 12-minute documentary, a lot like almost 8 people talking heads. Kind of had to do that, cut and paste and blender and mix them all together so they all make sense, kind of thing. And that was tough. So yeah, I'm kind of like trying to get out of that. Oh, vMix for Life. Is somebody called vMix for Life? That was his name? I didn't even notice it. vMix for Life. Lake Elsinore, named after a Danish city, Elsinore. I'm pretty sure that's not what it came from, but it came from fame for being in Hamlet. Okay. I'm pretty sure Lake Elsinore is not named after Helsinore. Helsinger. I don't know, maybe. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. Could be. I will give you that. I don't know. Big love from the UK. I'd love to go visit UK. Of all the European countries, I was thinking about going to be UK because I share a common language, at least for the southern part of UK. I think the northern part, which they might disagree, is not necessarily UK. You get to Scotland, I don't know. Maybe some parts of Welsh. I don't know about that. But I think if I had stayed around London, I'd probably understand what most people were saying. What's the box underneath the U.S. flag? It is actually, it is an old telephone ringer, actually. It's actually the ringer for this telephone. And it actually works. I had it wired up so I could have little lights on it that would glow, but it's like really, really loud. Really, really loud, obnoxious. But I like the look of it. It's cool. I leave it on there. Let's see. Wikipedia must be inaccurate. I just went there to gaze at the pictures. Yeah, maybe you're thinking of another Lake Elsinore. I live in the Lake Elsinore in California. All right, here's the question. I have a question. I know editing, but I do not know how to find someone to work with them. Well, that is the big question, is because I think, and that's my biggest problem too, I'll be honest with you, is people. I have all the gear. I have all the toys, but I have no one to play with. And that's the issue. People think that to make movies costs a lot of money and equipment. No, it doesn't. It costs a lot of money in people. People are what matter. more than anything else, you cannot make a movie without people, because people need people. And in some ways, those are the luckiest people in the world. Never mind. But people are the problem. So yeah, you really, if there's anything to do to try to become a better filmmaker, it really is to get more people involved, get more people to work with, get more people to bounce ideas off of, more people to be in your movie, more people to work with you. So yeah, it is a problem. How do you get more people? I don't know. I'd love to tell you I know exactly how. Part of it is networking. Part of it is maybe starting the community. You know, like that's why I was thinking about doing this movie night thing. Again, just trying to get more people. Anyhow. Mindo says, what are your thoughts on stock video production? Feels like everyone and their dog is selling drone stock footage. Well, it's one of those things where it's called long tail distribution, where, if you get one person to buy stock footage for the full asking price, and you got it all paid for. So all you need is one person to do it, right? The stock footage is actually made... I had one piece of stock footage I made that made a lot of money, and it was actually used by like political ads, and it actually got onto places like The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. So actually my footage was on The Daily Show because it was talking about this political ad, and I shot this at a man-made lake nearby. It's called Harveston. And it's just this kind of gorgeous front porch kind of a thing. And it was a beautiful sunset. And I was just testing out a camera for a video you can see on this channel. You can actually see the video, and I sold it for stock footage. And I sold at least I probably made like $10,000 on that one shot. But yeah, stock footage it's a hit and miss game. You just shoot a bunch of stuff and you hope something lands. It's hard. I mean, you might have an idea like what might sell and that kind of thing, but it's a difficult game. It's also a numbers racket kind of a thing. Okay, for a single subject, do you prefer multicam subject or in switching, say vMix, or a single cam in 4K and a soft switch in post? Well, so two things depends on that question. Why would you want multicam setup? Is if you have a very controlled situation and you want to minimize how much post work you have to do. Remember, the thing about post work is it tends, like editing is editing, and you either put all your time in before or you put your time in afterwards. So, if you switch it live, and if you have like a controlled set and you know kind of what's going to happen, and you're not too worried about some mistakes happening, or you can look back and fix mistakes that is, multicam might make sense. Of course, it involves more equipment. It's more expensive as far as getting the equipment set up, setting everything up, making sure everything works. And there's limitations on, recording quality and all that, blah, 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 blah. So if you can, I think, to me, I've been going more towards single cam, doing like, set up, shoot, set up, shoot, that kind of thing. It's more time consuming post-production wise, it's a little more time consuming maybe, but probably not, it's not more time consuming like setup wise. It's actually less because you only have to set up one camera. So that's the way I play it. So when I do like events, when I go back and do these student of the month programs that I used to do before the pandemic days happened, I used to do that multicam because I didn't want to sit there and edit stuff that I already recorded, because it's the psychology. Like, you sat there, you recorded it, then you have to go back and edit it, and it's not necessarily the most exciting thing to edit. So if I go back, if I multicam it and do the edit there, I can go back and just clean it up and just take out the pauses, take out dead sections, and then add graphics and stuff like that. So yeah. But generally speaking, if I was shooting like a movie, you might want to shoot more than one camera. You might shoot A and B angle, which might be like one angle, but A and B camera for me would never be shooting cross angle. It'd always be shooting the same angle, different framing. Or same-ish angle, different framings. And that does accomplish, you get a lot more coverage, it's maybe a little wasteful, but you get a lot more coverage that way. Anyhow. Pop says he works in 3D for 20 years, never actually came across other 3D modelers in real life. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe you guys are just rare breeds. That's what it is. Tommy Angel says, just looking at the final product, I always prefer multicam. Maybe. It depends on obviously what you shoot. There we go. I know I'm heavily biased, but I watch older shows shot on film, and man, do they look gorgeous. I know it's not feasible anymore, but darn, have we lost a lot. Yeah, those old shows, they do have a look on them. They do have a look. Although some of the shows, they kind of got that vintage look. It feels like they were shot on 16 millimeter or something like that. You know, the TV shows, that is. You know, the movies, obviously, probably higher. I wonder if the TV shows were shot on 16 millimeter. Some of them were. I don't know. Like, what was the Hawaii Five-0 shot on? Because that had a very, like, ultra saturated look to it. It had almost the 70s indie look to it. Because I know Hawaii Five-0 was shot on location, at least for a few years. And I remember that was a big issue because Hawaii at the time didn't have a lot of production facilities, so they didn't have a whole lot of casting or crew that could work it. In fact, that's where they got most of the cast from, the locals. But Hawaii Five-0. Yep. Anyhow. All right. Well, what time is it? 3:38. How long have we been? 2:30. I've been about an hour. Shrubs. Oh, Scrubs was 16 millimeter. I didn't know that. Well, 16 millimeter too also got a lot better, I think, over the years. You know, from the 70s. Let's see. FEAMSR. That makes a lot of sense. I prefer MC2. I was wondering about efficiency. Thanks. Yeah. Again, remember lighting is a crucial issue too, because you can, with a single cam, you can get away with some lighting tricks. You can light things for a certain angle, and then, but if you light for multicam, you have to light for multiple angles. So that also increases the amount of time that you need to set up. Now, if you're lighting flat, like in a sitcom or something like that, or a stage set, that's fine, because it's everything. It's supposed to be lit. Everything's supposed to be lit, you know, equally well. So, does vMix have Luma transitions? I'm not sure what you mean Luma transitions, but it has a lot of transitions. I mean, it has some transitions. It has just as many as what you call it, OBS. It has the green screen capability. Has, you know, has multicam, has what I like about vMix 2 is the ability to put multiple cameras, multiple sources together. It's a pretty stable platform. It's better than the other software that I was experimenting with earlier. Was Alf shot on real film? I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Alexander says, thank you for the, Alexandre says, thank you for the sampling frequency. Thank you. Yeah, that was a video that had been bugging me for a long time. Like, why was there a difference between 44.1 and 4048? So, yeah. So anyhow, I'm getting a little tired. My brain's getting mushier. Sooner or later, I'll forget what Barbara Stanwyck's name again, and we can't have that going on. True Film adds the Kodak Vision 3 negative stock looked awesome. No affiliation. You can spot 16 half since the halation is more intense. Yeah. Yeah, I'm too geek to be a filmmaker. I'm an engineer in disguise. That's people think that about me. That's what bothers me. It's like, I don't want to be thought that way. I'm not really that much of an engineer. I don't have the engineer mentality. I really feel like I'm more of an artistic mentality. I just happen to like engineering. I think what I do is I can explain engineering in an artistic way. I think that's what's difficult, because if you don't explain it in a way that people understand it, or draw graphs, or, you know, articulate it in a way that people get, it's hard. You guys are already sensing that I'm ready to leave. So you're saying your goodbyes. Oh, I'm going to have a tear. Anyhow. Okay, what are we talking? Question, just a real quick question before I take it off here. Would I record S-Log3 on a Sony A3 7S3 or Cinetone for YouTube videos? It depends on what you're shooting. If you're shooting something that you feel like you need to have a huge amount of dynamic range, you can go ahead and use S-Log3. Just remember, you want to experiment with it. Learn how to expose it. You know, that's important. Don't just think, oh, magic button, push the button and, oh, yay! No, do some experimenting with it, figure it out, read about it, read about what the exposure level should be and all that stuff, and then go ahead and shoot. Now, if you're just shooting, honestly, for a lot of stuff I've been shooting, I keep it the regular 709 profile, because it's like, I don't want to spend a lot of time color grading this. I just want to shoot it so it looks nice and maybe do a little bit of saturation, maybe pull the shadows a little bit. Okay, I'm done. That's how I do it. So, yep, thanks, guys. You know the science of your art. Yep, thank you. And you have to use the art to tell people about the science. Donnie, well, you came in just as I was ready to kick off. I'm going to go finish some stuff on my van and maybe do a little bit of cleaning up tonight in this horrible, disgusting, pathetic thing. Amir just asked me, can I make a video meaning of color and film? I cannot. Because color always means something different. Always means something. There's no one thing you can say about color. Because I like red. Oops, you can't see that. I like red, but red doesn't always mean that. You know. Anyhow, I am tired. I'm going to go take off, and I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, I'm going to make that beat by beat. We're going to talk about Little Shop of Horrors. Not horrors. Although I'd probably like to visit that shop too. But never mind. Little Shop of Horrors and why the movie done us dirty. Alright guys, I want to take off. I'll see you next time. Filmmaker Q. Check out the merch store, Patreon, or just leave a comment, give the algorithm going and so forth. Share the videos. We'll talk to you later guys. Take care. Ta-ta!